Welcome everyone, this is a very hungover and freshly showered Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest chapter of One Piece, chapter 985, 15 chapters away from the big 1000, which I feel Oda is not going to disappoint. Oda is not going to disappoint with chapter 1000. It's going to be mind-blowing, I'm sure. It's going to be a milestone among all fans, but that being said, we're still a little bit away from that. So we have chapter 985 here today. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little disappointed with the big announcement. I think it's only because people hype up everything these days a little too much. You know what I mean? Like the big announcement by Kaido. I mean, okay, they're going after the One Piece. Well, we all kind of assume that they were, sort of. Like, you know what I mean? Otherwise, why would they want poneglyphs? Why would it have been a thing to, a Big Mom was very angry that she was tricked by Roger. Why would she keep a red poneglyph and stuff like that? We know they all want to be Pirate Queen, Pirate King, all that kind of idea, right? So I felt the big announcement wasn't too big. Not to say this chapter didn't have something in it that was pretty big, and I'm glad I wasn't spoiled on it. But that being said, since we're sort of doing this, it's not a live reaction. I've already read the chapter, but I'll be going through this page by page as I've currently been doing up until the basement is finished. So here in this chapter, we get Kanjuro, who has basically said that, not that nobody believes him, but he's just kind of like, I'm still going to check the back entrance. I still know that the Red Scabbards, the Remnants, are still going to try to come here and deal with stuff, even if they don't believe me, even if there's no warning of their arrival, I don't trust it, I'm going to the back entrance sort of idea, right? So Kanjuro shows up with a bunch of headless drawings, along with some of the, seems like he's here with some of the Beast Pirate crew, right? Like, you see a few of them here and there. So he's there with the Beast Pirate crew, but he's also there with, very well done drawings, warriors, headless samurai sort of idea, sort of mocking the idea of the Red Scabbards. And to which they rebuttal, we have not lost our heads, sort of thing. Izo is, of course, there looking like the boss, looking like the leader, sort of idea. And I would imagine that Izo, these guys are no pushovers. You got to remember, the Red Scabbards, they might not be anything, Yonko level or Luffy or Zoro tier, but these guys are still strong. They are powerful individuals in their own individual right. And Izo, I would garner, has gotten even stronger being a part of Whitebeard's crew for so long. There's no way that he didn't perfect some armament hockey and things like that, right? Or whatever his specialty may or may not be. He's got to be top tier being on the Whitebeard crew for so long. So, Izo's there basically saying samurai warriors with their heads cut off, and Kanjuro doesn't seem phased. So Izo, you've returned just so you can lose this battle. And they said, well, we didn't lose our heads. We are not here to lose, sort of idea. We get Kiku is very, very distraught here. She is just, or he, I don't know the pronoun game we're playing with that one, but Kiku is definitely distraught over Kanjuro's description of what happened with Momo. It seems like Momo did try to escape, as we all assumed from the other chapter, and he did try to free himself, and he fought back, and he injured, so he beat the ever-loving snot out of him, pretty much, right? And, beating a small child and stuff, it's like, I punished him, but only enough to knock him unconscious, and and he even says, it might have, by the sounds of it, Kanjuro beat him so bad that he says, to my surprise, however, the boy lives. I suppose that must be because of Odin's blood. So he beat him. We saw how bruised and beaten he was, but by the sounds of it, Kanjuro did not try to keep him alive. He beat him to a point that would kill a regular person in the One Piece world. That's just sick, man. And you can see them all, Kawamatsu there and stuff, and, dialogue. You can tell they're seething. Kiku is having none of this. Kiku is just ready to go. Just, the Kanjuro keeps going on. We have we have Inarashi and Nekomamushi talking about like how he's got like, oh, you've got a gun arm now, Nekomamushi. Like, what is with that? He's like, ha, nifty, isn't it? I got a gun arm now. You know, I was playing Final Fantasy VII and I was like, I can pull off that stuff, sort of idea. And then we have Kiku. She puts on her helmet. She's clank, ready to go, and just says, "You may now shut your mouth, conjurer. The wounds this one's katana leaves do not vanish in the afterlife. Like snow that remains into the spring, they will continue to torment your soul for eternity." This is a Kiku moment here. Even we already know who she is, he is, whatever, but just right there, vassal of Kazuki, Kiku Onojo of the fallen snow. And we already saw like the devastation like in the prison break in the Udon prison. Definitely no pushover, definitely scary. And now in full samurai garb, wearing even the mask, which was very classic back then, you know, wearing the mask over the face. And then Kanjuro doesn't seem phased. Show me Kiku. And so they're all going to start. We see, you know, Shutamaru. We see Shutamaru. We got Izo there pulling out his flintlock. Like, all right, let's do this. We got, you know, Nekomamushi, we got Kawamatsu. They're all pulling out their swords, their guns. They're ready to go. We get the Beast Pirates attacking them, and Kiku and Kanjuro. It's going to be Kiku versus Kanjuro. Interesting choice of who's going to fight. You would almost think it'd be Izo. As I said, Izo's kind of right now, I would argue, the de facto leader with Kinemon not around. But Kiku's not a bad choice. I'm surprised, but pleasantly so, because I think this is going to be a really cool battle if we get to see enough of it. We see their clash. We get those sparks coming off. It's not Conquerors, guys, but we see the sparks coming off of their, their clash sort of idea. The other cool thing to take away from this fight is, before we move on to the next part of the chapter, is that Inarashi is now, I'm using, you know, Nitoru style, two-sword style sort of idea, right? Is it Nito Ryu? Nito Ryu? I forget the Japanese term for two-sword style, but basically, you know, like Cat Viper, Nekomamushi put a gun hand on. He was like, well, peg legs are cool. Sword legs, ladies and gentlemen. Sword legs are even better. So Inarashi just going around, he's like, yeah, and it's like, what's with your leg? He's like, I'm using two-sword style. Like that's no big deal. Anyway, so pretty cool. I like that. I'm really hoping, I think it was implied that they are on the night of a full moon, so Nekomamushi and Inarashi have the potential to go Sulong. And I think we're all expecting it. I don't think Oda's going to cheap us out on this. Those two are going to go Sulong and beat the ever-loving shit out of Jack. I don't care what Jack, hybrid form, regular form, full mammoth form, it won't matter. These two in Sulong working together. The only reason they didn't win the first time is because these two refused to work together. Had Nekomamushi and Inarashi actually worked together from the start when Jack showed up, I wouldn't be surprised if they could have pulled it off. So the fact that, you know, Sulong form with these two, it's going to be epic. It's just going to be incredible. Like, Nekomamushi's going to just turn into Mufasa. And Inarashi, well, has anybody seen Inuyasha? Yeah, Great Dog Demon style. Like, that is what is going to happen. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be amazing. So, either way, we jump over from there. Kaido's speech is apparently starting. And we still have Yamato, who is Kaido's daughter, referred to as a son nonetheless, and says, so speaking as Kazuki Oden, I followed the proper logic that says, as Ace's brother, you should give me a ride on your ship. And it's like, what? Like, so Yamato has, almost by the sounds of it, Yamato has sort of semi-convinced herself that she is Oden, it almost says. Like I'm speaking as though I am Kazuki Oden right now. And she's doing things based on the belief that she's speaking, if I were Odin and if he were alive, this is what Odin would do, so it's what I'm going to do. That's the way I'm taking it. It's a little out there, but okay. I mean, cheers. She's certainly no lightweight. I mean, she took out, some of the Topiropo, so with a simple Thunderbaga. So, should be interesting here. But honestly, the timeline here and stuff is not adding up for me here. So Yamato knew Ace. As Ace's brother, you should be giving me a ride on your ship. She goes on to say, I wanted to go to sea with Ace and his friends so badly. Well, at the time, was his friends, like, when he went to Wano, was it not, like we need a bit of a time frame here. Because it's been 2 years since Ace's death, plus he still had to go to Wano, which was under Kaido's control this whole time. He must have known that. He did know that. So Ace and his friends, like, I'm trying to figure this out, because we were all a little disappointed with the whole Marco reveal. It's like, why did Whitebeard not get involved? The excuse that he would not know, that Whitebeard would not have known, or Izo, none of them bothered to check up on Wano for 20 years, didn't know what was happening in Wano, didn't know about Odin. The fact that they didn't know that was Kaido's territory is just not... It's unbelievable. It's almost completely unbelievable. So something's not adding up here. And even this here with Yamato saying, I wanted to go with Ace and stuff like that, but I couldn't because, I've been in prison on this island since I was 8 and all this stuff. So when did Ace go there? Why didn't Ace tell Whitebeard about it? Or somebody, Izo. He was on the ship. And it's just... We're missing some key information. I'm going to give Oda the benefit of the doubt, because last time I questioned Odin at the beginning of the Wano arc about a few things, it all ended up turning around perfectly well. So, you know what? I'm going to table this issue. I'm just bringing it up that we're missing some type of information. We need to see the chronological events. We don't know what Ace potentially said to Whitebeard. Maybe there was a reason Whitebeard couldn't do anything. Don't really see why, but maybe Whitebeard was thinking in the same way, like when Shanks told him, recall Ace, we can't have the Blackbeard thing because then we're going to have the whole Marineford thing and it's just going to be awful and blah, blah, blah. So there might have been a reason. Maybe Whitebeard did know. Maybe they had a plan to actually go to Wano after A, B, C. Maybe they had some other things they were trying to accomplish first. Maybe they were working it out with Shanks. Shanks, who also knew Odin. Maybe Whitebeard and Shanks had been talking, about, we got to deal with Kaido. And then Shanks might have said, we can't let that lead to a war or something like that. There could have been a multitude of reasons, but there are scenes we have not seen yet that would explain away a lot of this stuff. So right now, I'm just going to, as I said, I spent the last 5 minutes doing it. I brought it up here. I still don't get how this chronologically makes sense, but in the way that somebody would have acted before now, and Marco's excuse doesn't add up to what we know, that Ace was here. Ace seemed to know about the situation in Wano. It's Kaido's territory. It's Odin. It meant Yamato. Like, there's all this stuff. So either way, as Ace's brother, you should be giving me a ride on your ship. So Luffy basically goes on to says, Kozuki Odin's the guy that everybody loves. So he paid attention enough to understand who Odin is. And he said, there's no way you can be Odin. And he said, okay, fine. Maybe you're more Odin than me. What does that mean, I'm more Odin? I guess Yamato is seeing, like, everything Yamato is seeing is kind of like, okay, maybe you're more like Odin than I am. And we know that. We know that from seeing his flashback, that Luffy shares a lot of similarities with Roger, but also shares a lot of similarities with Odin. Odin acted like Luffy does right now. It's a whole thing. So, I mean, it's accurate, and I find it interesting, but she says, how can I be Odin and not be free? It's because of these shackles. Wanted to go to the sea, blah, blah, blah. And are those the prisoner's shackles that'll explode when you leave the island and all that stuff? Now Yamato's like unsure if it's the truth. Like, would Kaido actually be willing to blow the arms off of their own child, sort of like mutilate them? Not really taking that risk since, she was beaten since she was a small child. And clearly Kaido must have wanted a son so goddamn bad, because Yamato's clearly a daughter and Kaido just keeps referring to her as a son. So maybe he's got one of those weird sort of things like, no, you're not a girl. You're a guy. You're my son. You're not my daughter. You're my son. I don't have a daughter. I have a son. Maybe Kaido's delusional in that way. I mean, he clearly is. But either way, She goes on to say, I fear that that's what my father's like. And Luffy's like, you want me to take those off for you? So clearly, Luffy is now confident in his new ability to use the reroll sort of idea of hockey. Listen, do you really want to fight on our side? I mean, it'll mean seeing me whoop Kaido right before your eyes. And Yamcha says, I wish I could do the very same. How many times do you think he's beaten me? I want to, pay him back. So Luffy's like, all right, I'll take those off for you. He's like, you don't understand. These things have kept me trapped. Like, Luffy's not explaining, I have a technique, because it's not Luffy's style. Saying, I have a technique where I can get those off for you, Rayleigh style, and so, but they get interrupted by Kaido's speech, talking about the Paramount War, talking about the world turned in motion. Apparently they do get, of course they would have the information, but the 7 warlords were not disbanded because of some mad whim by the government. It's a sign of confidence that Navy headquarters has a new force capable. So Kaido's not stupid. We kind of started to see more and more of this, especially in the flashback. Kaido's got a head on his shoulders. He's not just some brute that's just unkillable and just like, oh, I want to go fight the strongest. He's not, he's not that brain dead, because it's like, okay, look, now someone might have told him this, but it's kind of like, okay, they got rid of the 7 warlords. That was the only other part, because it takes the Marines and the warlords to keep the Yonko in check. So they wouldn't just get rid of the warlord system and not have something else in store. So clearly they have something, a new force capable of stopping the Yonko. And Kaido recognizes this, and he says it right here in his speech. But while the world government grows arrogant with this, we have decided to join hands with the Big Mom pirates to seize the greatest power in the world, the ancient weapons. So now Kaido and Big Mom are after the ancient weapons and something else. But either way, they're after the ancient weapons, and we all know that those two joining forces is like, that's exactly what the world government fears the most. When the warlord system was in place, they tried to stop a meeting between Shanks and Whitebeard for fear that if those two join hands, I mean, if 2 Yonko ever work together, it basically means the destruction of whatever they decide to destroy. And that's what's so terrifying right here with Big Mom and Kaido joining forces. Now we do see Big Mom has arrived, in other words, and crash bang boom, here comes Big Mom. She's turned a bunch of, the broom, the cello looking thing, the lute or whatever it's called, a bunch of different household items into homies. We see Zeus has been beaten literally black and white, I guess, because the big black, X's on the eyes, the whole bit. And Prometheus behind Big Mom as well. In the shot, we don't see it, but it is there. At least I haven't noticed it here. She arrives and she's like, Captain of the Big Mom Pirates, Olin the Orion, Oriran. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sure it means something. Japanese. I mean, I suppose I could look it up. What does this word mean? What does that mean? Was a name given to a prostitute who was very popular and highly regarded, mostly for her beauty, in the brothels of Edo, Tokyo. Okay, so she's now Big Mom the hooker. A really pricey hooker with the bounty of 4.388 billion berry bounty. So it's kind of, I think Oda's trying to be a little funny there. It's like, oh yeah, Big Mom's now a prostitute. She's also worth 4.388 billion berries of a prostitute, but she's still, so interesting they would go with that. She's a highly regarded prostitute now. Okay, so Big Mom the hooker. And, all right. Once again, a little odd, but Captain of the Big Mom crew, Olin, not Big Mom anymore, I guess. There were some people actually complaining about this, that she got, there's her stamp and there's her reveal that are 4.388 billion berry bounty. And in retrospect, a lot of people are looking back and going, see, this would have been a better time to reveal her bounty. Not that a lot of people are calling the chapters where we got the information on the Rocks crew, we got the bounties of Whitebeard and Roger and the Yonkos and all that stuff. that was kind of like forced. That was just hype for hype's sake. It wasn't a very good chapter. It came out of nowhere. I disagree because we've been waiting so long, and there were multiple opportunities. Like right now, it's just it's just showing it again. I didn't feel that chapter was bad in any way, shape, or form. Even looking back on it, it built hype, but it made sense that they would go over these important figures while also divulging the information about who was so big and why these people became so big, because they were either part of the Pirate King's crew or they were part of the Rocks Pirates. That's who controls the seas, is the remnants of those two crews. Everyone else is below these people. You got Shanks, Kaido, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Roger. All of them were part of one or the other, so it made sense to me. Either way, I don't want to harp on that too much. She's terrifying up close, the world's most powerful hag. We see Nami and Carrot there. They're being held down. They've been captured. Robin and Jinbei notice that it's Nami. Kaido goes on to say, took you long enough. But now we are going to weigh in. We're going to be part of the piracy business once again. We're really going to start being more pirates rather than emperors. Again, we are going to go out and claim the One Piece. I don't know how they think they're going to pull that off. Where's the fourth poneglyph? I don't know what they're thinking, or maybe they're just like, we'll just conquer the whole world and then we'll eventually find it. Either way, so the existence of the ancient weapons will bring fear and war to humanity. Prepare yourselves, for that is the world of violence that we all seek. So they're joining hands and they're just thrilled. Apparently Big Mom and Kaido are both willing to work together to go get the One Piece. Orochi is there. Here's the big thing. Here's the really big thing, is that Kaido's, like, Orochi's there, and Kaido just goes on to say, which raises a question, follows Orochi, you must now choose. Like, we're basically going to turn all of Wano into one big weapon factory and a paradise for pirates. That's what it's going to be. We're going to turn the flower capital into a labor force. We're going to do all that. Orochi tries to say, wait a minute, that's my territory. Who do you think you are to take my weapons and stuff? And just, boom, just, King's like, Kaido, sir, boom, gone. The head of Orochi is taken from his shoulders, and I don't think any of us saw that coming. I don't think anybody saw it coming that Kaido was just gonna behead Orochi right then and there. Now, that being said, we all know about Hydras, and we all know about the Yamato no Orochi, which is of course the fruit that Orochi has. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the classic Greek thing. It's going to be the classic Yamato no Orochi thing. You cut off one head, it grows back, sort of thing. I'm pretty sure Orochi is not dead here. Everyone's like, wait, what? He just cut off, like, they were allies for years and stuff, and Kaido just slams his fist into the crucifix that holds Momo and goes, the Kazuki clan and the Kurozumi clan, that means nothing to us. We are pirates. You have 5 seconds to choose, follows Orochi. You either become pirates for us, or basically you die. Like, those are the choices, or you become like one of our slaves. Either way, that's the choice. He's leaving them. He's just like, no, I'm not listening to this guy anymore. Like, why did it take him so long? I have no idea. But that's where we're going on for here. So it's like, okay, so is Kaido even going to bother executing Momo at this point? Because he's like, I don't care about this. I don't care about him. I don't care about this country. We are going to make new Onigashima, and its shogun shall be my son Yamato. Still refers to Yamato as a son, even though we know the truth. So telling them they need to choose to fight, make your choice, samurai. Fight or die. Like that's your only options. We are going to turn this country into the beginning of a pirate empire for the coming world war, which we already knew Kaido was talking about. So now we're seeing blood. It seems on the on somebody's blade there. I don't know if that's supposed to be Kaido's blade, but with the snow falling, because we see Kiku, and Kiku seems to be weeping. So I'm assuming that Kiku has run Kanjuro through, but still feels terrible for it or something like that. So we don't actually see what happens. We just see blood dripping down the blade. But apparently Kaido claims that Wano will be no more. It'll be new Onigashima, as I said. It'll be my son Yamato. So then Luffy and Yamato kind of seem to be bursting through, going, not even for a second, you stupid dad. Hey, show me the way. They're going to kill Momo, and someone called the Topiropa. So Luffy and Yamato are now running forward, sort of in big rages, and they're like, oh, they're going to kill Momo. I got to stop them. And Yamato's just like, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. I'm not being the shogun of the new goddamn pirate empire, stupid dad, you know, sort of thing. So anyway, a lot of stuff in this chapter. The fact that Big Mom and Kaido are now actively looking for the One Piece. I mean, I assume they already were. Like, I never assumed, like, maybe they've been sitting on their laurels for a long time, which is sort of what I think this speech is all about. That Kaido's basically like, we haven't really been piratey pirates for a long time. We've basically built our home bases, and we've stayed in stasis for too long. It's time to start conquering again. It's time to move forward. And ever since the Paramount War with Whitebeard, that has really shifted the world, and now the balance of power changed, and now it's like, yep, we're going to go for it. We are going to go and actively seek out the One Piece. We're going to start the war. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to go get the ancient weapons. We're going to do all this stuff. We're joining hands with another Yonko. Now we're 50%, like, you know, we got 4 Yonkos and 2 of them joined forces. This pirate alliance is so dangerous, and like, there's just a lot. There's a lot here. As I said, I didn't think the speech was super, super impressive for that. Like, we're going to have a big reveal, but once again, I think that's more of the community. The community hypes up whenever something is sort of hinted at. People go nuts, like, what, could Kaido say he's going to build an airplane? Like, they go all the way out to the most ludicrous ideas, like, this is going to be the biggest reveal in all of manga history. People go nuts. They make theory videos. Everybody and their dog makes a theory video and go, this is going to be hype, it's going to be hype. In all honesty, it's not I think the hype built it up more than it could ever have lived up to, because at this point, it's just, they're just going to be pirates again. We already knew that they were in an alliance, and now they're going to go after the ancient weapons. I mean, that's a big deal, but I think the community tried to build it up too much for what Kaido was going to say. So I guess he's already taken over Wano, so him saying, Wano's not a country anymore. I think the big thing was him slicing off Orochi's head. Now, I don't think Orochi is dead. I think a lot of us don't think Orochi is dead. But that was a big thing. That was a big, like, whoa moment. Like, nobody saw that coming. That was a really good part of the chapter. I'm excited to see what 286 brings us. Next chapter hits August 2nd. So I believe that means we have a break. Is that right? Not... I don't even know what day it is. It's the 19th. So, yeah, if I'm doing my math right, then yeah, it sounds like we're having a break. So, either way, I like the chapter. What did you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe. Always appreciated. This has been Griever with your not behind the bar review, but still a One Piece chapter review. And we will see you guys back here next time for chapter 986. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.